Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And gentlemen, I want to thank you for your service, your patriotism, and your wisdom, and appreciate all that you do for us. In our national defense, I particularly feel confident to have a leader of Marines at the helm with the new chairman. As a recent Iraq veteran, I am concerned about the fact that 5 years after we left, we now have to go back. And in my new role on this committee, I want to make sure that we get it right this time. And after we do militarily defeat ISIS, we don't find ourselves putting troops back into Iraq again for a third or fourth time. So, Mr. Secretary, can you just tell us what is the mission statement right now for the operation in Iraq?
Well, Congressman Moulton, you're getting to the heart of our strategy. And this is not only the part that is essential, but also the part that makes it difficult to achieve, and that is that we want a victory over ISIL that sticks. And that means forces that participate in the recapture of territory and thereafter govern it in a decent manner, so that we don't have a new wave of ISIL or ISIL coming back. That's necessary in both Iraq and Syria. Those are two different cases, but that's why we pursue multi-sectarian governance, decentralized multi-sectarian governance in the state of Iraq, and why we're trying to find a political solution to the Syrian civil war. Because while it's important to defeat ISIL, it's important to defeat them in a lasting way. And that is a critical part of the strategy and the reason why we are so intent upon identifying and enabling capable and motivated local forces.
Chairman Dunford, can you just answer that question? What is General McFarland's mission statement?
Yeah, to disrupt, to degrade, and to defeat ISIL.
And so my concern is that we haven't seen enough integration of the political side here, that we don't have a political plan that really underlies what our military mission is. And we've heard that from the need for that from General Petraeus, General McChrystal, Ambassador Crocker, people on the left and the right who have testified before the committee and have written about this problem in the press. Can you speak a bit to that coordination, that planning, and your confidence that General McFarland and others on the ground can see a political end state that will stick and make all their military efforts worthwhile?
Yeah, Congressman, it's a great question. And frankly, what you said a minute ago about not wanting to go back in 5 years is something that we all feel strongly about, which is why right now, as difficult as it would be, I do support the objective of a multi-sectarian unified Baghdad, because I see that as the best prospect for a stable, secure Iraq that would not be a sanctuary for violent extremism in the future. So as difficult as it is, I think that's a fair objective. Clearly, there are many difficulties in pursuing that, not the least of which is the Iranian influence. But General McFarland's working very closely with Ambassador Jones. You've probably been over to visit them, to enable the Abadi government to stand up on its own, to provide the kind of support it needs to be independent of influence from outside actors, particularly the malign influence of Iran. So the overall objective to me is clear, but the path to getting there is difficult at best. But again, I don't personally have a better idea than to enable the current government of Iraq to be successful, to provide the kind of stability and security within which we won't see organizations like ISIL. And if at any point in the future, Congressman, I believe that assumption that we can get there no longer obtains, then I would recommend a completely different campaign strategy or campaign plan to get after ISIL inside of Iraq.
Are you receiving the support and involvement of the State Department necessary to achieve those political aims?
I believe we are. In fact, since I've been in the job now, we've had 2 separate meetings with Department of Defense leadership and Secretary Kerry, and we meet about every 3 or 4 weeks on specific issues in a campaign. I think it's fair to say that there was a recognition, Secretary Carter and Secretary Kerry recognized that we weren't as integrated across the government as we should be. And so about 2 months ago, we began to meet on a periodic basis to attack specific issues. So far, the oil issue is actually an outcome of the first meeting that we had, and the most recent meeting was on foreign fighters, because that clearly requires a whole of government. But again, I would tell you, am I satisfied with the level of integration? No. We're working on that. Am I satisfied that it's going to be easy to get after the desired political end state in Iraq? No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be a hard slog. But the cardinal direction direction to me is clear.
General, I have a couple seconds left. If we had retained that level of integration after 2009, would we be in the mess we are today in Iraq?
It's fair to say the conditions would be much different.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.